Today is April 23rd, and this is COVID-19 Local Impact Ottawa Valley. I'm Deanna Tierney. Here is a look at the COVID-19 situation at the latest update. We had no new confirmed cases, no new deaths, and 6 resolved cases. Total tests done sit at 1,268, and negative tests now sit at 1,125. And we are currently awaiting the results of 129 tests. In Ontario, the number of cases went up by 634, bringing it up to 12,879. That is a 5.2 increase from the last report. 713 deaths have been reported, along with 6,680 resolved cases, and total tests has now reached over 194,745. That is an increase of over 10,214 over yesterday at the 10:30 a.m. update, April 23rd. To start the program, we are going to hear from Pastor Stephen Ailes and how St. John's Lutheran Church members have adapted to not being able to attend church services.
It has been an adjustment, certainly. The one thing I have to say right off the start, we really appreciate Cogeco, your TV, for broadcasting our services. And almost daily I get comments from members that appreciate it. I just got one today. It says, we are grateful to have the Sunday services to watch on Cogeco. I even have friends who belong to another church, and they are grateful to be able to watch it. Thank you to all who participate in the preparation and work preparing the service. May God bless you all. So it really makes a difference to be able to have the services on the local cable television. So many people have been able to be comforted from hearing the words, from being able to continue the routine of weekly worship, and it's through the Cogeco. So we appreciate that. But as far as the way they're coping, it's been difficult, I think, especially for the people who are seniors, people who are in nursing and seniors homes, where they're used to having people come and visit. I'm not able to go and visit them. I attempt to talk to them on the phone, which helps to some extent, but it's certainly not the same as if you can go in and sit down and have a face-to-face. The one thing that people have said to me is that they didn't realize how valuable worship was, the physical worship services, until they couldn't have them. And I think that's one of the lessons that we bring from this time, is that there's a lot of things that we took for granted, things that we just did every week and we didn't think much of it. Now we're realizing how valuable those things are. And I think when we are able to reassemble as a church, I do believe that it will be more joyful than ever. And I think it's going to be a wonderful celebration that first Sunday we can gather back together. Well, I really do think it's important, especially with COVID-19 and with all the stresses that go with that. There's certainly the fear of getting sick. There's oftentimes people who have been laid off, who have lost their jobs, and a tremendous stress that are connected to all of that, and certainly the fear of death, the fear that it might take their life. That's an overpowering fear. And during this time of fear, time of uncertainty, the Word of God is a foundation that gives us hope, gives us peace, gives us comfort. And so I really think it is important to be able to continue to get the Word of God out in whatever form we can get it out, so that people can get comforted and peace. And those are the things they especially need during these times. We are going to have to develop a new normal, because I don't think anything will be exactly the same after COVID-19. Somebody mentioned that they anticipate that handshakes will become a thing of the past, that no longer will people shake hands. And that's possible. That may be one of the changes that takes place, where we don't have that formality. But I do think, people will be a little more cautious. I think distance will be probably, respected a little bit more after COVID is over. And I think that's going to be one of the new norms. As far as, church goes, fellowshipping is a big part of our Christian community. So I hope that we can still gather after our worship. We'll gather together for our coffee fellowship and support one another as we've always done in the past. So hopefully there will be some things that don't change. That's my point. Interestingly, and again, this is where, if somebody mentioned that if this would have taken place 20 years ago, we would be at a great disadvantage because the technology has increased so much for communication. And so it is valuable to use things like Skype and to use Zoom to communicate with people. And last evening we had our first confirmation class. Confirmation is around the age is around 12, and we have a class of 6, and so we had our class through Zoom. And so that was something they hadn't experienced before, but it was, one way at least that we could communicate and I could still teach the class. On Thursday, we're having a Bible study, again, using the technology of Zoom. So the technology has helped to some extent. I send out a weekly email to try to encourage the members who have email. Not all our members have computers, so those who do, they get a weekly encouragement letter. And those people who don't, I try to call. I've called a number of members and talked to them. Now there's a variety of responses, and on the one extreme, one person I said, well, how are you coping during this time? He said, I love it. He said, I never like to be around people anyway. So you do get some people like that. That's a minority. Most people find the isolation difficult. And again, it's one thing to communicate through the computers and through the internet. It's not the same as a person-to-person communication. And so a lot of people I talk to, they're really looking forward to once again being able to talk to people personally. And to get together with family again, and all these things that they're not able to do now, they tremendously miss. So, I've been doing all right. It's funny though. I do, as a pastor. Pastors generally are wired in such a way that we want to support people. We want to help people, and one of the struggles being a pastor is you can't go when people are very sick or dying. You're not able to go and minister, be there for them. There's people, I've talked to some people in the nursing homes that are extremely lonely, but you can't do much about it other than talk with them on the phone. So that's a struggle for a pastor. You just would love to be able to just go and be there for people. That's one of the difficulties. But I think the value of prayer is important during this time of connecting to God in that way, and that gives me the peace that I need to continue and to be there for other people as well. I really do think that the Word of God offers so much that we need during any struggle, but certainly during this struggle. And Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you; my own peace I give to you. Such as the world cannot give, I give to you." And so there is a peace that comes through putting everything into his hands, and he invites us to do so. Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And so we can take all that troubles us, all our worries, we can put them on him, and the end result is that we have a peace, that we have a rest. And so I do think, and by the way, it's an interesting dynamic, because during this time of difficulty, there's a lot of people who in the past have maybe neglected faith or didn't care much about faith, who now are starting to realize the importance of faith. I heard that the sales of Bibles are up 40%, and it's because people are looking for the strength that God offers. So that's one of the positive things that can come out of a very negative situation. So that would be my advice. I think if everyone could turn to the Word, draw strength from the Word, and the end result is that there is a peace, a comfort, and a hope.
We will believe in Jesus Christ, Son of God and Mary's Son, who descended from His throne, and for us salvation won. By whose cross and death are we rescued from all misery. We all confess the Holy Ghost, who from both in truth proceeds, who sustains and comforts us in all trials, fears, and needs. Blessed Holy Trinity, praise for. Remember to catch up with us at yourtv.tv for all of our COVID-19 local coverage and full-length interviews. I'm Tiana Tierney. Thanks for watching.